Hey, it's Al from Boston. How you doing? I wanted to make a quick video on catalysts and what it would cause, what kind of catalyst would cause an AMC short squeeze, the infinity squeeze that we're all waiting for. These are realistic ones and there's unrealistic ones. I just laid them out. I'll go over each one and I'll think of scenarios and whatnot. I think they're pretty accurate. I don't think they're too far out of the realm of possibilities, I think they're realistic, and let's go over. All right, first one, short hedge funds defaulting, running out of money. Okay, so we know that there's a collection of shorting hedge funds. We know that there are big guys and there are smaller guys. These smaller guys have smaller capital gains. I'm sorry, smaller capital means than, let's say, the big guy. Now, it is possible that one of the bigger hedge funds, SIG or Citadel, could be giving them money, which is illegal. I think, I'm pretty sure it's illegal, but they could be doing that. They could be doing it through crypto plays, whatever. But the smaller hedge funds would be the first ones to default because they're running out of money, and we know that they're spending like hundreds of millions of dollars trying to stay afloat on this, and it's very possible that this could happen before anything else. The second one is larger hedge funds quitting and starting to cover. There are other companies other than hedge funds that are shorting us. So a lot of people don't realize this, but let's say you're the CEO of Lowe's Corporation or Home Depot, one of those big companies, and you're not making the money that you have. You need to make each quarter. So what do? You hire a bunch of brokers, you put them in your staff, you tell them, hey, start trading, start making money for the company using trading options. Sure, no problem. So they start shorting stocks along with the big guys, except this time they're screwed because they don't have any way to cover their losses after a while. So there is probably one or two companies in that list that I gave you that's probably not finance related companies. They're probably businesses that got into a supplemental income. So that could be a possibility. And they could just be like, hey, you know what? We lost too much money. Screw this. I'm out. And it could be a catastrophic incident. We might see companies that are conglomerates that go down because they are connected some way to a shorting hedge fund. That could very well happen. The third one is, of course, the SEC rulings. They could pull some stunt. Gary Gensler, believe it or not, could change the rules, some kind of status quo change. And, before you know it, they are forced to cover or they're exposed and Gary starts arresting people because the evidence is right there. If that happens, expect to see a squeeze right then and there. No questions asked. It's going to start squeezing because they're going to be trying to destroy paperwork, bury paperwork, this, that, and the other. And that happens very quickly. This is my thing right here. Ryan Cohen from GME. So these guys have already talked about NFTs and they're already in the process. I don't know how far along they are. If we don't cause an AMC squeeze on ourselves or through these mediums that I've described, it'll be Ryan Cohen that triggers this thing. And it'll be GME first. I know that may not be the answer you wanted to hear, but it's true. These guys are way ahead of us in terms of changing the NFT, getting an NFT, doing the share count and all that stuff. And when Ryan Cohen releases that NFT, it's going to cost trillions of dollars, trillions that they don't have to stay in this game. The short hedge funds are screwed. They start to rocket to the moon, literally. So they got a smaller float, and that will cascade into us. All these other funds all these other stocks that are being shorted by them. And before you know it, it's just going to be pandemonium. It's going to be hell on earth. Gamma squeeze, right? Gamma squeeze can always happen. Believe it or not, I want to give you a scenario right here. Think about what causes the gamma squeeze. It's random, it's spontaneous, right? But in this mode, they're watching us. They're using AI and they're watching all of us and stuff. And, they know if we're going to plan something. Like, let's say, for example, this is not to be taken literally. Let's say, for example, on December 7th, which is Pearl Harbor Day, the day of surprises, everyone saves up all their money and just FOMO buys in that day and causes a major gamma squeeze. Yes, that could happen. I'm not saying you should go out and do this. I'm giving you an example. December 7th, just an example. Don't actually do it. It's just an interesting day because it's Pearl Harbor Day. And I just thought maybe it was interesting that if everyone bought stock that day and just FOMO bought and caused a major gamma squeeze. But that's here, no there. And I'm not giving you financial advice. The devaluation of hedge funds, Class A stocks. Let's say Citadel owns a bunch of shares in Coca-Cola, right? And the largest consumer of Coca-Cola is the United States, right? Let's say the FDA releases a new warning saying that one of the main ingredients of Coca-Cola causes cancer, metastatic breast cancer. And all of a sudden, Coca-Cola is devalued to like, half or three quarters or whatever, right? It just loses, it plummets value, or Ford or something that the hedge funds have a huge position in. If those stocks get devalued, it's over. It's going to squeak right then and there, that very moment. They're not going to be able to make their collateral needs. It's done. It's basically done. All the hedge funds are gone. The NFT, we know about this. We all know about the NFTs and the dividends. As far as I know, as of right now, we're still in debt. And I mean, it's still feasible, people, that we could get a dividend somehow. There are ways of doing it. It's just a lot of paperwork and it's very risky. But it's doable, yes, for the most part. You just have to find out how exactly it's done. There's a lot of stuff that goes involved in this. It's issuing government, there's bonds you could issue, and there's a bunch of different things. But it's possible. Inflation, interest rates, and reverse repo, all the big threes of economic problems. These three can cause them. I don't want to go through all the details of how these things work. There's YouTube videos out there, and it shows you how interest works, how inflation works now. The reverse repo and the debt crisis are all interlinked with each other. And of course, stock market crashes, right? So we know bad stuff is happening globally with stocks. We know this, and it's got nothing to do with the AMC Squeeze, right? But if the stock market takes a dramatic downturn, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, it will squeeze, and nobody's getting out of that. I mean, we'll make a ton of money because we have reverse beta. By the way, I want to talk about reverse beta a little while, but if we have a stock market crash, the reverse beta that we have will take it way beyond my ceiling, which is $1 million, into several $1 million. It's going to be, if that happens, and we'll be some of the richest people in the country, because it's just going to keep going and going and going, and somebody would have to stop this thing from happening, going any further. Unrealistic but possible things: war with China, regional conflicts outside the U.S. control, affecting commodities and having a cascading effect. So the Russians right now have a huge, massive buildup of troops on the Ukrainian border. That could be a regional conflict. It looks like there might be some kind of skirmish. Nobody knows. There's also stuff going on in Taiwan with the Chinese. Not getting into too much of that. We're supposedly going to fight on the behalf of the Taiwanese people. If that happens, according to Joe Biden, I don't see Marines getting out there anytime soon holding the peace down, because that area, the South China Sea, is a treacherous area, and they've built it and designed it to where it'll be hard to do amphibious landings. And if we get into another war, yeah, the stock market, the stock market is going to take a tumble, and we're going to be at war. So nobody wants that. Supply and demand. There could be major issues in terms of supply and demand on an economic scale if there's other currency problems. Other economic problems that are involved, right? Meaning, if there is a massive oil shortage, right? Good example: OPEC starts to reduce its inventory, starts to reduce the cost or increase the cost, and everything goes through the roof, and there's a supply and demand irregularity or disproportionality. Yeah, that could cause it as well. Unrealistic, though. Natural disasters, acts of God. Now, this, I shouldn't have put this in there, but acts of God, catastrophic results from natural disasters is very, very feasible. Whether it be an asteroid, a tsunami, earthquake, whatever, it could happen. And there's, of course, socioeconomic changes, overwhelming loss of confidence in the judiciary of the government. I don't want to get too political. If we have some kind of major event, like the president, who, in my opinion, has got debilitating, Alzheimer's disease and like just health problems like dementia, if he takes a tumble and he gets sick, that could cause a squeeze, because they lose confidence in the country, lose confidence in the dollar. And if there's some kind of another race war, some kind of judiciary issue where people don't believe in the confidence in the government to be fair, they could lose confidence in the judiciary and the government and the executive powers. And lo and behold, people will pull their money out of the stock market, and before you know it, that causes a squeeze. So these are realistic and unrealistic catalysts for the AMC Squeeze. I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew what's realistic, what's not. In terms of the stuff that's going on and with the drama or whatever. Do yourself a favor, stay the hell out of it. Don't even comment. Don't even give them any reason to start shit. Just stay out of it and just let them do their thing and work out stuff. The community, I don't believe, is fragmented. I think we have pissing contests between people with egos, and that's what it is. There's good guys and there's bad guys. There's people pretending to be good guys. There's bad guys pretending to be good guys. This, that, and the other. Stay the fuck out of it. Just stay away from it. Get your content. Get what you need. Don't get emotionally attached to people. Because like, look at me. I left for like a week because somebody called me a derogatory ethnic slur, and I came back to a bunch of notes, bunch of messages, and all kinds of stuff. You know, in terms of community, the only commonality that I see what we have is that we all want to get rich, right? And the only way for us to do that is knowing that we're going to hold, right? That's all we need to be assured of from each other, that you will hold, that the guy and the girl next to you is going to hold. We don't have to be drinking buddies and stuff like that or whatever. And I'm not trying to plant discord or hate, right? All we need to do together collectively is hold. It's always been the problem solver for this community. All you have to do, regardless if they're fighting or, if there's infighting or not, is hold. Let them fight. Let whoever say whatever. Doesn't matter. As long as we hold, we win. And we will win because we're going to hold to $1 million. And that's going to be the end of that. So, hey, this is Al from Boston signing off. If you found value in this content, subscribe to my YouTube page. Yeah, that's it. I have nothing else. Thanks, guys. Take care.